You realize the problem with turnover or retention statistics or percentages is that they're being shaped and formed right now while you're watching this video. So whether you're a leader or within a team, or like, these stats are actually being shaped on a moment-to-moment basis. Right now, there is somebody who's searching on LinkedIn, wondering if the grass is greener. There is somebody who just got out of a meeting with their boss and feels like, I'm not sure there's really any career path or trajectory for me here. There's somebody else who's grumbling to their colleague about being way overworked and not appreciated. There are all sorts of variables, right? Even to come up with, to say like the top one thing that makes people leave is almost not useful, I think. It's almost oversimplifying a really complex human experience, which is how do you spend 40 plus hours a week of your life and how do you want to? And the variables of salary and all of that are actually tied to all these strings in our personal life as well. Here's the good news. I have designed this video to be as succinct as I can possibly make it to actually help you influence and increase your retention today. And in fact, my goal, my commitment to you is if you choose to watch the video to the end, that I'm gonna give you one thing that can actually increase retention in your team, your organization, or maybe even with yourself in under an hour. So not even just a day, like when this video ends, if you choose to put it into action in the next hour, I believe that you can actually shape retention statistics that you're gonna see at the end of the year or hear about after you leave or whatever else. To do that, I'm gonna reveal what I think is a little secret that I've discovered, that once you know it, you can put it to good use. And then I'm gonna end this video in a really unconventional way that will hopefully push and challenge you a little bit more than any other video you've watched today or last week or last month. I was leading a workshop last week with a manufacturing company. They make vacuums, which I thought originally were like, vacuums? No, these are like really intense, expensive industrial space vacuums that SpaceX and Google and everybody else buys for semiconductor research and things that I don't understand. So I'm leading a workshop with all these leaders within the organization to help them ask better questions. And one of the things that came up that somebody else said, and I don't know if it was exactly in this language, but the essence of what they said is, for me, a really important strategy to shift somebody from being a critic or a curmudgeon or just a consumer in an organization is to be really deliberate about making sure that they know I care about them before I expect them to care about anything that we're doing, right? So the idea of caring about somebody before they care about you. Now, let's put this into some data. This was like 4 years ago, so before the Great Resignation, or I was talking to a pretty fun eccentric artist recently, and he kept calling it the Big Quit. I like that language better. So before all this was showing up about the Great Resignation, the Big Quit and all this stuff, people were still quitting their jobs like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, etc. Not in the same way, for the same reasons, but about 4 years ago, I was leading a workshop with about 25 other CEOs that were all running organizations between 100 and 500 employees. So this is in Philadelphia, 25 CEOs sitting around, and they didn't know this, but this is a group of pretty smart, quick people. They don't have patience for bad workshops. I didn't tell them I was gonna do this in advance, but I had my team go to Glassdoor, the site where people, after they rage quit or they love a company, they go and review that company, that organization, that school, whatever else. So little did they know, I had my team print out a bunch of reviews off of their sites, like hundreds of reviews off of Glassdoor, and I cut them out and had them placed all over a table. And when they came in, one of the first things we did was I asked them to get into small groups and sort out the reviews, which were anonymized. They didn't know which company left which review. I gave them the goal of sorting the reviews into categories and buckets to figure out why are people staying at your organization and why are people leaving. And here is the secret that I feel like I picked up in that session from that group of people. We found that 9 out of 10 of those reviews had the word listen in it, or a synonym for it, right? I'm not feeling heard, I voiced my opinion to my manager and nothing changed for a year, right? So if you wanna increase retention today, the second this video ends, start listening to someone. Now, usually what happens before we listen to someone is we have to ask them a question, preferably a good one, right? So we gotta ask them a question rooted on our own curiosity. And so after this video, or even while this video is finishing up, open up a new email, think about an employee that you really appreciate and ask them something rooted in your natural curiosity that isn't, how's it going, right? So ask them, what is one thing that's working really well for you about this job? And what is one thing that you would really like to change by tomorrow? When you ask questions rooted in your own curiosity and you seek constantly on a daily basis to listen to employees, it's really hard for them to go to Glassdoor and leave a review saying, I quit because I didn't feel heard, seen, understood, etc. Now, the irony of your own expertise, right? I'm not always really good at listening to the people around me. And yet, with lots of intention, mechanical intention, a couple months ago, I actually sent out a survey to all of you, the people who are regularly watching my videos, tuning in, and asked you, what are your suggestions for new topics? What do you want to hear about? And so the title of this video was verbatim suggested by one of you. And I think that's the second piece of listening to someone, isn't just giving them lip service and smiling and saying, I hear you. It's actually doing everything within your power and within reason to address that. So not only do I just want to send you a survey, an engagement survey at the end of the year, and then not do anything about it next year, I want to send you a survey and then make sure the title of my next video is something that you actually suggested and requested, which is an invite in all future videos. If you've got ideas for future topics or sequels to videos that you liked but you want to go a little bit deeper, feel free to leave in the comments right now. If you want me to dive into another aspect of retention, feel free to request that. Now, what we're talking about is I would put under the umbrella of retention through relationships, which is a core part of my work. I get to work with some of the smartest leaders and educators on the planet to help them increase retention through the way that we relate, communicate, etc. And so my invite, my ending to this video is stop watching this video. Don't click on the next one. I don't have a free link for you to download something. I'm not sending you over to the... Just get off of YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever else you're watching this and listen to somebody and change the retention statistics in your own world. Have an awesome day.